bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Fade to Black. It's Thursday night. It's FADERNIGHT. This is bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah. Today's Wednesday, July 28th. Thursday, July 28th. 211 days into the new year, 155 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California, and I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I'm your so humble host, Jimmy Church. What's cracking? It's Thursday night, it's FADERNIGHT, it's open lines, it's all about you. And Jon Rappoport is going to be here in a few short minutes with his No More Fake Newsroom. It is FADERNIGHT, it is open lines all night long. The call-in number is 323-825-5045. Want to remind all of you, tomorrow night I will be hosting Coast to Coast AM, filling in for George Norrie. He's taking the night off. It's Friday night. My guest tomorrow night will be Greg Hausch. The Greg Hausch. Going to be on Coast to Coast for the first time. And we are going to be discussing his involvement with hacking, Anonymous, the TV show Mr. Robot, of which he is a consultant. He's also the consultant on House of Lies. And he went down for the cause. Went to federal prison. And more on that on the show tomorrow night. But Greg, truly, and for all of you and for the Coast audience, Greg, in that world is singular, and there you go. And he will expose and his life and what it was like, and a little bit of what it's like on the inside of a prison, going there for well, I'll let Greg tell the story, because what he went for, and he shouldn't have gone at all, but what he went for and what they ended up pinning on him is two different things. So there you go. Greg Hausch tomorrow night. It will be anonymous for the first time on Coast to Coast. So get ready for that. And there you go. We've had an amazing week on the show this week. And not only, with John Lunn and Modern Masters on Monday, John Anthony West on Tuesday, Robert Schock last night on the show. It was just a great week. And running along in parallel with all of that was the background of the DNC and the RNC the week prior. Now, this show is not about politics, folks. Never has been, never will be. What it is about is the conspiracy of all things. Conspiracy is the new normal. And this week, it was shades of the shadow government everywhere. it was just everywhere. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in just a bit. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio, Facebook, YouTube. You know what to do. Click on those buttons over at Jimmy Church Radio. Follow, like, and subscribe. You can also email throughout the show tonight, Jimmy@JimmyChurchRadio.com. It is Fader Night. It's open lines all night long. For those new listeners right now that are coming in, this show is an interactive show. The show is built a family. It's built a very large audience. And this show is live. When you listen to this show later on whatever your choices are, wherever it's archived, it could be YouTube, it could be iHeartRadio, just wherever you go and choose the podcast. Those are this live show archived. Okay, this show is not a podcast. It's a live radio broadcast. And so when we post the show and we get it out there, one of the things that we do in the interest of censorship and non-censoring the show is we don't remove the commercials. We don't edit anything. We archive the shows forever as they were presented live. Okay, so it's really interesting to me how the people that listen to the show months later, right? And they're so used to podcast and other formats out there. And they listen to this and go, man, what's up, man? It's because it's a live broadcast. This is a live radio show. Okay, you're listening to a time machine, man. And we don't edit anything out. We don't have the time to. We broadcast every single day. All right, so there you go. So if you're a new listener to the show tonight and you're listening live, we run a couple of chat rooms, and we also have Twitter. Twitter runs live to my left. Hashtag F2B is our sandbox. It is live throughout the show. The conversation stays live in lockstep with the show. That's going on over there. Then we have the chat room that's going on in Spreaker. That thing is always out of control. Then we have the chat room over at KGRA. Whatever your choices are, go and hang out. Okay, but everything is there. The show is live. Okay, that being said, I was looking at a bunch of stuff that was sent to me about Trump bashing. And that when I get stuff like that, it's obviously somebody that's listened to a portion of a show. They haven't listened to 100 shows or 200 shows or 300 shows or 400 shows. They haven't done any of that. They listen to a little portion of one show, and it sounds like what they want to hear, right? That I'm Trump bashing. They don't realize that I don't do politics on this show. I do conspiracy on this show. That's the deal. More on that in just a little bit. First off, I would like to announce to everybody our newest sponsor here, which is CCCP Publishing. And right now they have a special on Brad Olson's book, Future Esoteric. Go right now. The price is only $12.97 for the book. And you're going to get another book thrown in. You're going to get two books for $12.97. Use the promo code Jimmy. Go and click and support the show by supporting CCCP Publishing and the book Future Esoteric. It is a great book. Go and do it now. You won't. That is a page turner. Also, Life Change Tea. GetTheTea.com. Use the promo code Jimmy. Get free shipping on your order. Click on the banner. Go to the specials page. And check it out. It is one of the best companies on planet Earth. And, of course, Studio Dome, surround sound speakers. They have their FADERNIGHT special just for you, which is a stereo system. TWS, True Wireless Stereo Bluetooth technology. It is the latest technology. 2 SB-B2 full-range speakers, power, cables, $129 in a hard shell case. Use the promo code JCR. TWS. And of course, you will get free shipping. The Awareness Life Expo is coming up. It is August 12th, 13th, and 14th up at the Crown Plaza Hotel, Sacramento, California. Tickets and information right now. Go to jimmychurchradio.com. On the right, you'll see the appearances section. Click on it. Go over. They've got a bunch of different ticket packages available for everybody. On August 12th, that Friday, we will be broadcasting Fade to Black live from the VIP mixer at the Crowne Plaza Hotel. I look forward to seeing everybody there. It's going to be great. All right, and we will be bringing the Fade to Black crew shirts. Yeah. All right, we'll see everybody there. All right, let's get the show cracking. Got a lot to do tonight. Happy birthday to the one and only Peter Cullen. 75 years old today. I just can't believe it. And Peter is the voice of Optimus Prime in every version. The cartoons, the animated series, the specials, the movies, all of that. Peter Cullen. His voices go all the way back to the Smothers Brothers show in like 1969, where he was the announcer. But he has done so much animation over the years. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of things. But he's best known for the voice of Optimus Prime. Happy birthday, Peter Cullen. Our dead guy's birthday today is Jackie O. Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, 1929-1994, died at the age of 64. Of course, she was the former First Lady of the United States and widow to JFK, and pretty much was seen across the world as a symbol of American style, elegance, and grace. The image of her in that pink Chanel suit and that matching pillbox hat in the back of the convertible Lincoln is one of the most iconic images in American history. On May 18th, 1994, she made her last trip home from New York Hospital, the Cornell Medical Center. She had cancer. The following night at 10:15 p.m., she died in her sleep 2 months before her 65th birthday. Happy birthday, Jackie O. On this day in history, 1945, a B-25 Mitchell bomber crashes into the Empire State Building near the 79th floor, killing 14 people. The freak accident was caused by heavy fog, but the building did not fall down. Is this working? Mike Barra, can you hear me? It didn't fall down. The building did not fall down. Mike Barra. Fader fact. Music, painting, poetry, literature, architecture, all used to be part of the modern Olympic Games from 1912 until 1948. That is a Fader fact. All right, tonight's open lines. It is Thursday. It is Fader Night. Open lines. It's your show. Fadernauts unite. Jon Rappoport's going to be here in a few short minutes with his No More Fake Newsroom. The call-in number is 323-825-5045. Did you hear that, Mike Barra? Is this thing on? Mike Barra? All right, now, talking about Mike Barra. Love that guy, by the way. I don't do politics on this show. I never will. It's not what I do. And if somebody is dialing in right now and they're listening to the show and they're hearing this, they're like, what? What's going on? This show, what I do is the do of conspiracy. And that conspiracy is above and behind politics, the shadow government, the puppet masters. It is real. That's what I do. Fortunately or unfortunately, politicians get in the way. But always remember what unites us all of us. Conspiracy is the new normal. And never forget that, my friends. I do believe in the system. However flawed it may be, I put country first. And you have to do that. Because if you don't, everything crumbles and we've got nothing. Nothing. And that, my friends, is not a good place to be. Right now, I leave everything up to the voters and the polling booths. That's what's going on. I could care less about the good and the bad of Hillary, the good and the bad of Trump. It's not my position. I'm just not going there, and I can't. So, to me, whatever happens, happens. And I will support whoever makes it to the Oval Office. I will do that. And I promise you that, because remember, it's country first. And you've got to do that. You may not be happy with the new boss at your office. You may not be happy, but you got to live with it. You got to make the best of it, right? You're not going to quit. You've got to feed your family. It's the same thing here. And that being said, this show has the best audience and family in the world, bar none. It is the best. We have built something that is large, incredible, fun, and it's all done organically. We've done it without advertising. We've done it, the word on the street, mouth to mouth, is the advertising on the show. That's how this thing was built. And that, I have to say that out front, because whoever and whatever drives you in your choices over the next few months is yours and yours alone. Don't let anybody affect you. Don't let me affect you. Don't let your friends affect you. Don't do that. Whatever drives you, it's you. And keep it to yourself and hold it dear. Don't worry about what I say on the show. Don't believe a word that I say. Don't do it. Go out, listen, do your own investigation, and that's it. I'm not here to sway you. I'm here to do the show for me. And remember, what unites all of you is this show. We are family. And what we do here is question everything. You have to do that and never stop. Don't let anybody else influence you. Don't let any fate or not, to the left or to the right, phase you. Why? Because we're family. Families fight, families bicker, families love, and in the end, next week, next year, we're all still here, and we are friends. And we'll be able to look back and go, and we do it now, don't we? We all look back and remember that night that Mike Barra went at it toe-to-toe with Dino over 9/11. You know? And it's still to this day one of my fondest memories. And that's what unites us. Never forget that. Ever. Today I was speaking to a friend of mine. He's a VP. He's a vice president of a very, very large corporation. And he's a friend, but we work together too. We have business that we do together. But big billion-dollar company. And he's right there. You know, they probably got 6 VPs. He's one. And not only do we work with him, and I talk to him maybe once a month or every other month when there's something on the table and we got to deal with stuff, but we talk as friends too. And in the middle of talking business today, out of the blue, he starts talking about the election, and that some of his friends have been talking lately that amongst them that it seems that the election to them is rigged. I was like, what? I was so uncomfortable with this because it just came out of nowhere. And he said that something didn't feel right about it, and he wanted my opinion. You know, he knows what this show is. He listens once in a while. And he had said that he had heard my rant last night. And he said that it seems like I've been Trump bashing lately. I'm like, dude, I keep hearing this. I'm not. I'm really not. It bothers me. But anyway, he went on to say that he agreed everything that I had said last night, but he said that I was harsh. I said, dude, I'm just speaking the truth, man. It's about national security. But anyway, he also said that for the first time that since he's been able to vote, that he's undecided. He doesn't know what he wants to do. And he's always voted in one party. And now he's thinking about breaking ranks. Now, I'm not going to say which one, and it doesn't matter because it's happening on both sides, right? But he said that he was waiting for something good to surface. Good. To pull him one way or another. And that's a very interesting thing for him to say. Something good. He went further to say this. He said, we have piles of very bad things stacked up. And this is a quote. With both Hillary and Donald, and it's all negative, almost criminal, and it's on both sides. Nobody's talking about anything good. I was like, wow, that's so interesting. So in the interest of being fair, yesterday the Donald did it to himself with his plea for Russian espionage. Oh, and the help that he needed. Well, today it's Hillary's turn. But remember, this show is about conspiracy, not politics. I don't know about any of you, but during my life so far, and I'm 52 years old, I've only had a few friends die. And I'm not talking about relatives. I'm talking about people that I know, friends, coworkers. And I know what happens. It's life. But the piles of dead bodies around the Clintons, well, if you stack them up end to end, it's probably a couple of miles long. And I'm not joking about that. So for your enjoyment, last night Trump, the conspiracy. Today Hillary, the conspiracy. For your enjoyment, and please take notes. These are the dead people around the Clintons. Some of these are famous cases, and we have forgotten about them over the years. And when these cases and these incidents happened over the years, going back all the way to Whitewater and before, when they happened, they seem to have all just gone away. We've forgotten. Time has clouded our memories. So listen to this. Body number 1, James McDougal, Clinton's convicted Whitewater partner, died of an apparent heart attack while in solitary confinement. Body number 2, Mary Mahoney, a former White House intern, was murdered July 1997 at a Starbucks coffee shop in Georgetown. The murder happened just after she was to go public with her story of sexual harassment in the White House. Body number 3, Vince Foster. We all remember this case, just like McDougal and Mary Mahoney. Vince Foster, former White House counselor and a colleague of Hillary's at Little Rock's Rose Law Firm, you remember that, died of a gunshot wound to the head, ruled a suicide. Body number 4, Ron Brown, Secretary of Commerce and former DNC chairman, reported to have died by the impact of a plane crash. A pathologist close to the investigation reported that there was a bullet hole in the top of Brown's skull. At the time of his death, Brown was being investigated and spoke publicly of his willingness to cut a deal with prosecutors. Body number 5, C. Victor Razor II. Razor, a major player in the Clinton fundraising organization, died also in a private plane crash, July 1992. Paul Tully, Democratic National Committee political director, found dead in a hotel room in Little Rock, Arkansas, September 1992. Described by Clinton as a dear friend. Body number 7, Ed Wiley, Clinton fundraiser, found dead November 1993 deep in the woods in Virginia of a gunshot wound to the head. Jerry Parks, head of Clinton's gubernatorial security team in Little Rock, Arkansas, once again gunned down in his car at a deserted intersection outside Little Rock. Parks and his son said his father was building a dossier on Clinton. The files disappeared when and were removed from the house. Body number 8. Body number 9. James Bunch died from a gunshot suicide. It was reported that he had a black book of people who were visiting prostitutes in Arkansas. James Wilson, found dead in May 1993 from an apparent hanging suicide. Of course, he had ties to Whitewater. Body number 11, Kathy Ferguson, ex-wife of Arkansas State Trooper Danny Ferguson, was found dead in May 1994 in her living room with a gunshot to her head. There were several packed suitcases like she was going somewhere. Danny Ferguson was a co-defendant along with Bill Clinton in the Paula Jones lawsuit. Kathy Ferguson was a possible corroborating witness to Paula Jones. Bill Shelton, Arkansas State Trooper and fiancé of Kathy Ferguson. Critical of the suicide ruling of his fiancée, he was found dead in June 1994 of a gunshot wound. Body number 13, Gandhi Bao, attorney for Clinton's friend Dan Lassiter, died of jumping out a window of a tall building January 1994. It was all about drugs. More on that in just a second. You have body number 14, Florence Martin, accountant and subcontractor for the CIA, was related to Barry Seal, the pilot at the Mena, Arkansas airport drug smuggling case. He died of 3 gunshot wounds. Then you have Suzanne Coleman, reportedly had an affair with Clinton when he was the Arkansas Attorney General. Died of a gunshot wound to the back of the head. Ruled a suicide, by the way. Paula Grober, Clinton's speech interpreter for the deaf from 1978 until her death in 1992. She died in a car accident. Then you have Danny Casolaro, investigative reporter, investigating the Mena Airport and Arkansas Development Authority. He slit his wrist, apparently, in the middle of his own investigation. Then you have Paul Wiltshire, attorney investigating corruption at the Mena Airport with Casolaro. Right? Okay, the October surprise was found dead on a toilet June 22nd, 1993 in his Washington, D.C. apartment. He had delivered the report to Janet Reno 3 weeks before his death. Then you have John Parnell Walker, Whitewater investigator for the Resolution Trust Corp., jumped to his death in Arlington, Virginia. Barbara Wise, Commerce Department staffer, worked closely with Ron Brown and John Huang. Cause of death unknown. Why? Her bruised, nude body was found locked in her office at the Department of Commerce. Body number 21, Charles Mesner, Assistant Secretary of Commerce, who gave John Huang special security clearance, died shortly thereafter in a small plane crash. Body number 22, Dr. Stanley Hurd, chairman of the National Chiropractic Healthcare Advisory Committee, died with his attorney, Steve Dixon, in a small plane crash. There's more to this. I got to get to the rest of these bodies. The body 23, Barry Seal, we know there, drug-running TWA pilot. Death was no accident there. Johnny Lawhorn, a mechanic, found a check made out to Bill Clinton in the trunk of his car. Shortly after, he died, hit a utility pole. Herschel Friday, attorney to Clinton fundraiser, died March 1st when his plane exploded. Kevin Ives and Don Henry, one of the craziest cases there, known as the Boys on the Track case. Reports say that the boys stumbled upon the Mena, Arkansas airport drug operation. They were found dead on train tracks. It was reported that their bodies were already dead before they were placed on the tracks. The other persons that died in their case, the Ives-Henry case, were Keith Coney, died in a motorcycle accident. All of this within 1 year. Keith Maskell, stabbed 113 times. Gregory Collins died of gunshot wound. Jeff Rhodes, he was shot. James Milan, found decapitated. Jordan Kettleson was found shot to death in the front seat of his truck. And Richard Winters, a suspect in the Ives-Henry deaths, but he was killed in a setup robbery July 1989. The Clinton bodyguards, right, that are dead today, that is Major Henry S. Barkley, Captain Reynolds, Sergeant Brian Hanley, Sergeant Tim Sable, Major General William Robertson, Colonel William Desberger, Colonel Robert Kelly, Specialist Gary Rhodes, Steve Willis, Robert Williams, Conway LeBeau, and Todd McKean. That is 46 bodies found around the Clintons. And the latest, June 26, 2016, John Ash died of injuries while lifting a barbell on a bench, according to the Westchester, New York medical examiner's autopsy. But as it was clarified later, he died from asphyxia. He was set to testify against Hillary Clinton. Always remember, conspiracy is the new normal. Things are never, ever what they seem. You could probably get the same body count from any number of politicians in D.C. or around the world if you dig deep enough. But Hillary's running for president. Therefore, she got the body count today. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. When I come back, the one and only Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom. Stay right there.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. What's up, revolutionaries? It's me, Jimmy Church. Do you have an IRS or state tax issue? Well, I did, and I called national tax experts. My problems were fixed, done, fini, and man, I gotta tell you, it was a relief. National Tax Experts are a recognized tax office that services clients in all 50 states. Doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. I'm telling you, they take the time to understand each and every client's individual financial status as well as their financial goals. And that's exactly what you need, my brother, when you're taking on the evil 3-letter. So, seriously, give them a call today at 1-877-909-5444. Again, 1-877-909-5444. Or go check out their website, www.nattaxexperts.com. That's NATTAXEXPERTS.com. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
Hi, folks. GetTheTea.com is the place where the popular Life Change tea calls home. But did you know Get the Tea is also where you can purchase GMO-free organic supplements? You can read about their potent power at GetTheTea.com. Also, they just added a YouTube channel called Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. Education about our health can be a life change. Maybe that's why our famous tea is called Life Change Tea. Learn about the trees for life. Our supplements have no fillers, no wheat, no rice, no garbage. And our tea is wow to the body. Make a conscious health change. Educate yourself on the most powerful essence of life, which is your health. You want more? Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Or visit our YouTube channel at Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. And don't forget our fabulous mild detox tea at GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station where the Fadernauts rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
And now, coming to you from the No More Fake Newsroom in deep space, which is the space that we suspect to be true, that the world as it is fed to us every day by the Ministry of Truth is a lie, a false reality, a movie projected on the screen of your subconscious. This, however, is the breakout. All the screens crash. They all go down, and we see the light of day. A new day. No more robots, no more androids. It's the No More Fake Newsroom with Jon Rappoport. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Jimmy. Good to be back, folks. Good to be back. As you may know or suspect from some of my earlier reports here on Fade to Black, I take great glee in the decline of major media. It's a happy moment for me to see it playing out in front of our eyes. Why? Because they lie. That's why. Because they are in the business of lying on many fronts, on all significant fronts, all the time, as you well know. The stories that you are most interested in, that you are most concerned with, that you research and investigate and explore are the stories they never cover, or if they do, they brush them off as mere conspiracy talk and so on and so forth. And as a result, they're losing. They're losing big, very big. And now we have financial figures released about the New York Times for the April-June quarter of 2016. And of course, the New York Times has had the reputation for decades and decades and decades, going back into the fog of time, as the premier news outlet in the world, with great authority, with great dignity, with great intelligence, The best people, only the best people work for the New York Times, and they present the news that counts, that means something. They are the arbiter of what's important. And everybody who's anybody reads the New York Times. And so let us go to the scoreboard and let us see what is happening for this quarter. Second quarterly loss in a row. Dear, dear, dear. Digital ad revenue, that would be for their website, down 6.8% for the quarter. Oh, baby, 6.8%. But print ad revenue is down, that's for the actual newspaper itself, 14.1%. And this is the 8th straight quarterly decline for print ad revenue. I breathe it in like the joy of a new day. The Times is reporting a net loss of $211,000 for the quarter. And that is compared to profit of $16.4 million a year ago. Now it's on the edge of the big loss. A net loss of $211,000 for this quarter. A year ago, profit of $16.4 million for the quarter. Dire, 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 dire circumstances for the great one, the New York Times. We know that the Times has refinanced the finance of the debt of the debt of the debt for quite some time already. They are drowning in red ink. Drowning, drowning, and drowning. So I decided to go to the website of the New York Times, and fortunately, and quite generously, they list the top stories of the day which appear in their print newspaper, which is, of course, the mothership. And they give you the headlines. So let me give you the big headlines today. The big stories, the front page we're talking about. This is the front page of the New York Times today. Number one, Obama passes baton of optimism to Clinton. Whew, wow. A real mind blower. You'd never know that unless you read the New York Times. You're just dying to read that story, aren't you? Obama passes baton of optimism to Clinton. Number two headline. Obama, at convention, lays out stakes for a divided nation. That's not steaks on the grill. That is the stakes of what happens when we have a divided nation. Another yawner. Don't think I'll be reading that story. And then we have number three headline. Democrats' divisions linger, but parties have seen far worse. So this is some sort of an historical piece detailing how parties within themselves have been divided in decades and centuries past, and so on and so forth. I would suggest reading that article before you feel like going to sleep, just to kind of put you down on the pillow and it's Z time, many Z's if you read that article. Democrats' divisions linger, but parties have seen far worse. Number four headline, Donald Trump calls on Russia to find Hillary Clinton's missing emails. This certainly is news that you can't do without, right? Donald Trump calls on Russia to find Hillary Clinton's missing emails. Hey, Putin, find the emails, Trump says. A vital story. Can't do without reading that story. Here's another one. After years of setbacks, Democrats again see gun control as a winning issue. The key words there are Democrats see. What Democrats or Republicans see in case you haven't noticed, is far from news. It's spin, it's PR, it's hope, it's attempt to do propaganda. After years of setbacks, Democrats again see, yes, we see gun control as a winning issue. Boy, this is just the kind of news. I mean, how can you even live without reading this? NFL-backed youth program says it reduces concussions. The data disagrees. Oh, well, okay, so the youth program of football that's backed by the NFL says it's reducing concussions, but apparently the data don't agree. Yes, okay. And another headline, all charges dropped against Baltimore officers in Freddy Gray case. Well, you might want to read that one and see what's happening there. You might. That's the 7th leading headline on the front page. Now we have another category called lesser headlines. For example, here's one. News analysis. Bill Clinton praises his wife's feminine side. Oh dear, isn't that special? How could you possibly live without reading that story? Bill Clinton praises his wife's feminine side. Yes. Okay, let's see. And then we have Como in convention speech faces high standards. His father's, talking about Andrew Cuomo giving a speech at the Democrat National Convention. And of course, his father, Mario, ex-governor of New York, late governor of New York, was a very highly rated speechmaker. So we certainly want to learn all about how his son is facing high standards. I mean, this is the news, folks, on page 1 of the New York Times. In case anybody is wondering why the paper is drowning in red ink, here you have it. This is what they call the news. This is what they call vital information that you need to know on the front page of the #1 prestige news outlet in the world. And they're wondering why ad revenues are down digitally and print-wise, and they're losing money, and quarter after quarter, the reports are more and more dire. Absolutely astounding. I'm wondering how they exist at all, how anyone cares about reading that newspaper. But there are stories that could put the Times back in business. Not only back in business, but on top. And I've mentioned a few in the past in my reports and conversations with Jimmy here on Fade to Black. For example, medically caused death in the United States, a story that I continue to harp on relentlessly, and a Journal of the American Medical Association report that the medical system in the U.S. kills 225,000 people a year like clockwork, which, if you extrapolate that out to a decade, is 2.25 million deaths every decade directly caused by the medical system. Or how about William Thompson, the CDC whistleblower, a longtime researcher at the CDC, who in 2014 printed a confession on his lawyer's website stating that he and his colleagues at the CDC lied and cheated and committed scientific fraud in an investigation of the MMR vaccine and gave it a free pass, claiming it had no connection whatsoever to autism when, according to Thompson, they had the data that proved that indeed the vaccine did have a connection to causing autism. How about that story? Or how about the Zika hoax, which I've covered extensively here and in print, that there is absolutely no scientific proof that any reputable scientist would support that Zika has anything to do with the birth defect called microcephaly or the worldwide hysteria that has been ginned up by the CDC and the World Health Organization, inducing potential mothers not to become pregnant for fear of giving birth to babies with this defect. Yes. Or how about this? How about an in-depth investigation? For a year or two, one community in America after another where factories have closed down, throwing enormous numbers of people out of work because the corporations that own those factories have taken them overseas, where they produce the products for pennies on the dollar and employ virtual slaves. How about that? How about going into those communities and in-depth interviewing people who have been thrown out of jobs to show what is really happening in America with unemployment and poverty and why? How about that? Now, all of these stories, of course, would require investigative reporting. That's something that, let's say that is on the severe decline in all major media. 2, it would require pounding on that story day after day, week after week, month after month, in order to dislodge people from where they're hiding out, so-called experts, who would eventually be induced to confess that they knew about all of these horrendous scandals and said nothing and did nothing, and there were no remedial efforts at all in any direction, thus creating a waterfall larger and larger, a cascade of truth that comes tumbling down upon the public all over the world as to what is really going on, and creates scandal upon scandal upon scandal that piles up higher and higher and higher into the higher reaches of government, all the way into the White House and a number of presidents, and beyond the White House into elite groups such as the Globalist Council on Foreign Relations, Bilderberg, Trilateral Commission, and so on and so forth. That's what it would require, that kind of work. And, of course, we would be talking about exclusive content for the New York Times, as it would be, in my imagination, resurrecting itself. Not the kind of non-exclusive content like Obama passes baton of optimism to Clinton, or Democrats' divisions linger, but parties have seen far worse, or Bill Clinton praises his wife's feminine side. No, something different. But I've saved what I think might be the best for last. Because suppose the New York Times did the following. The managing editor calls in his editors or her editors and writers and so forth and says, okay, look, folks, this is what we're going to do. We are going to get into the issue of UFO. And everybody goes, what? Yes, that's where we're heading. And this is what I want. This will be the first story. Your job is to dig up an event, an incident, I don't care when it occurred or where it occurred, where there is sufficient evidence, not somebody saying they saw something somewhere in the swamps of Louisiana. We're not going there for this yet. We want professionals, trained professionals who are witnesses or were witnesses, and their word-by-word testimony on video and in transcribed print. We want photographic evidence. We want video evidence if it occurs. All this evidence conspires to prove beyond the shadow of a doubt that that particular event, that incident, was in fact a UFO. And I'm not talking about an experimental aircraft that the world did not yet know of. I'm talking about a real U, as in unknown, flying object. That's where I want you to go now. Find me one of those. Give me all the evidence. It's got to be airtight, watertight, absolutely convincing, and we're going to run with it on page 1. That's going to be the kickoff. And then, of course, we're going to get massive pushback from readers and from, elite, supporters of the Times and politicians and military people and propagandists and all of that. Yes, and that's all going to be fuel for the fire, because then you're going to find another one with ironclad evidence, and then another one, and then another one, and then you're going to begin to find the key figures who knew that these events really happened and never spoke up, never wrote anything about it, kept their mouths shut because of their security oaths, but now they're going to speak on the record. Not just one of these. Just like in Watergate, you tease out one confession from one person, that puts heat on other people. They come out of the woodwork eventually. We're going to roll this whole thing up into a gigantic and massive expose. That's what the managing editor does. But, boss, you can't do that. It would destroy our reputation. People would laugh at us. They would never think of us in the same way again, and so forth. And then the boss would say, well, yes, that's true. But in case you haven't noticed, my children, in case you haven't been aware, print ad revenue is down by 14.1% for the 8th straight quarter. Digital ad revenue is down 6.8% for the April-June period. We're posting a net loss for this quarter, and now we are in the toilet. Okay? You see what I'm saying here, folks? So if you want to keep your jobs, you're going to go along with this, and we don't care, because we're going to build a new newspaper. We are going to find stories that nobody cares about in the establishment and wants to cover up those stories. And we're going to put them out. We're going to put them out in quantity on the front page with massive evidence to back up the stories, because that's what you people are supposed to do. You're supposed to uncover what is not to be spoken of. That was the original idea, and we're going back to it come hell or high water. We're already losing ad revenue, so let other advertisers fall by the wayside. We don't care. We'll bring in new ones. They'll come flooding in, because you know what's going to happen on this UFO story alone? In 6 months, we're going to be printing 2 editions a day on the newsstands all over the country, and people are going to be snapping these up like hotcakes, because the UFO story has legs. Unlimited legs, my folks. And when we make a big enough splash with that, the circulation is going to go up twice, thrice, 5 times, 10 times, 50 times what it is now, and advertisers will be flocking to us. And we'll take all the criticism they want to dish out to us, and we'll refute it, and we'll make news stories out of that. How their criticisms are based on bias and fear, and an attempt to cover up the truth at the highest levels. We don't even know at the moment what those highest levels are, but we're going to find out, I'll tell you that. We've got hounds here in this room. You are all hounds trained to investigate, and that's what you're going to do now for the first time in your lives. We are going to stage a revolution and reposition ourselves as a profitable enterprise in the process. There you have it, folks. What could happen? What could very well, if they would just step over the line into the world of the truth. It's Jon Rappoport for tonight on Fade to Black.
Well played, my friend. Well played. You know what I find interesting here, John, and you and I talk about this a lot, and I talk about it on the show, and you're talking about it here. It's so strange to me how whoever determines whether it's a news editor and so forth, and a news director, but ultimately it's what's coming down from Reuters. And, you don't have multiple streaming wire services, coming in now. It's just one point source of information. And when that is put out, and you did the New York Times today, if you went to the LA Times or you went to the Miami Herald's website or you went somewhere else, you would see the exact same order of headlines. And then you go and you read the body copy itself, and it's going to be unedited. You know what I mean? It's just merely putting out the same information across the board. There is no independence with journalism today.
Absolutely, you're right. The 2 or 3 big wire services in the world, like Reuters, Associated Press, they run the game, and they are basically calling the shots. They're inventing the news, and not just the content, but the order of importance. They decide every day what people are supposed to think of as important.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's called synchronicity. Last night I was watching, and there's 1,000 of these on YouTube, but you can go and find somebody has taken the time to post or to put a video together of different news broadcasts from across the country doing the exact same headline, right? And reading it. And it's just funny, it's word for word. And I did that last night. And it just kills me. And which is why I got out of that career. I was thinking about going into broadcast news. I was going to do that. And being a talking head and reading a teleprompter is not journalism. It's not even honest. And I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. Plus, my eyes were failing me. And reading a teleprompter from across the room, I would need glasses. So, but anyway, it's just, I was like, I'm not going to do this. I am not. And now I have found that same issue that I had with teleprompters and talking heads and being a newscaster is the exact same thing that is going on in print journalism and on the internet. It is the exact same thing. Cut and paste.
Cut and paste, that's right. And you see it, as you say, you go to these different, prestigious news sources and you see that they're spitting out the same thing. And if there is really a scandal that threatens people who have significant power, the same method of covering it up is employed across the board, whether it's a total blackout or what they call in intelligence agencies a limited hangout, which is a little bit of an admission of, yes, here are a few mistakes and so on. And those kinds of, quote, confessions are done in exactly the same way across the media universe. And then it's on to the next.
I want to thank you. Thank you so much, John. And listen, be safe out there. We got the DNC behind us. And we'll see you next week right here on Fade to Black. All the best, John. Keep doing it.
Thank you, Jimmy.
You got it. Jon Rappoport, of course, his website is where you need to go every single day is nomorefakenews.com. This is Fade to Black. It's Thursday night. It's Fader Night. 323-825-5045. Your calls next.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Katie Lee, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com. Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
Fadernaughts. Things are never what they seem. For the past century, forbidden subjects such as UFOs, backward engineering, human abductions, secret space programs, underground bases, suppressed free energy devices, and other fantastic notions have tested the human mind, forcing it to decipher fact from fiction. Chronicling what he calls the alternative narrative, author Brad Olson gets down to the middle of it all in his best-selling book, Future Esoteric, now released in a second edition by CCC Publishing. And now, you can get Future Esoteric at a special price, plus another free book by just using the promo code Jimmy when you check out. Just click on the Future Esoteric or CCC Publishing banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go back, Lee Tepe.
Imagine no longer being tied down to your computer, but having the freedom to take live talk radio with you anywhere you go. TalkStream Live introduces our first ever iPhone application. The talk shows you follow now follow you, and your iPhone is now the fastest and easiest way to stay connected to the best talk radio on the internet. Let TalkStream Live transform the way you listen to radio. Listen to live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mobile talk radio from TalkStream Live. Now available in the iTunes App Store.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go back, Lee Tepe.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black's Thursday night. It is Fader Night. 323-825-5045. Look, I see all of the calls coming in. I see you. If you make it through, you'll be put on hold. If not, just call back. I will get everybody in, I promise. Man. First up, out of the block tonight, the one and only Mike Barra. What's up? What's cracking, Mike?
Not much. I'm just hiding in my office trying to avoid watching television. So I don't scream at it for hours. Keeping my blood pressure down, that's my thing tonight. I'm all about the blood pressure.
Okay, well, keep it down then. Keep it down. What's cracking, my brother?
Not much, man. I've just been working on a new book. I'm working on Hidden Agenda, NASA and the Secret Space Program. It's kicking ass, and I'm having a good time doing that. I was in Roswell 2 weekends ago doing something you know all about. And then I was back in LA last weekend doing something really, really fun. And I was on the rooftop bar, The Perch, in downtown LA.
Nice.
And so we had the Hollywood fires turn the sun blood red. And then a warehouse caught fire about 4 or 5 blocks away. And we were just on this rooftop, just inhaling all this smoke and dying, and it was just really surreal, interesting experience, but it was loads of fun. So that's what I've been up to.
Kind of like the opening scene to Blade Runner.
Yeah, exactly. It looked a lot like Blade Runner. Oh, and I got a haircut today too.
Okay, very nice, very nice.
That was big.
So, you called me, and I realize.
Well, you were calling me out on.
I'm gonna call you out. I'm gonna call you out.
What am I gonna do? Just sit here?
Well, this show isn't about politics. It's about the conspiracy of politics, and certainly, I can officially say now that we've got. The two runners in the ring now, right? And here we go.
Yes.
And we're in the sprint to November, and it's now official that the cloud of what is going on here. I will safely say this to the audience and to everybody else: if you've ever wanted proof, rock solid proof of a shadow government, of a Bilderberg federal reserve Illuminati cabal run of the puppet masters, then these two yahoos is the best example that I can give you. And here we go. And I called it a year ago, and this is it. It is hysterically funny to me that something this blatantly obvious in front of everybody actually played out just like I thought it would.
Well, certainly, one of them falls into that category. The other one, visibly, is opposed by the Democrats. He's opposed by the Republicans. He's opposed by the media. He's opposed by the bankers. He's opposed by everybody. So I kind of wonder, it doesn't go that deep that that's all fake too. I don't know. But here's the thing. I tend to think if this is a legitimate election, and I think we've had legitimate elections in the past, then I think it's really clear who's going to win. However, if it could be a situation where we end up with an election that is so obviously stolen. I mean, you can argue about 2000, but I think it's definitely was extremely close and could have gone either way. But I mean, if there's a super obvious theft of this election, like I think there's been at least one election in the past where it's super obvious that it was stolen. Then I wonder what's going to happen. I mean, I think that people are up in arms, and I think you would possibly see people on both sides of the aisle out in the streets if that happens. And that's the thing that's really fascinating and exciting to me is somebody going to just sort of cream the other person, or is there going to be so much shenanigans going on that people are just going to say, enough with the shenanigans, we're going to blow the whole thing up?
Well,
I
see
Trump
that.
and Sanders supporters being together on a lot of things.
Without even naming names, okay? This is the truth. This is the absolute. I will call it right now, and I will say it out loud.
Okay.
If this is the best that the Democrats can do, and this is the best that the Republicans can do, we're in for some bad times, because it is sickening that this is the best. I mean, we have so many great qualified people in this country. And the best, honestly, best.
Okay.
No, Mike.
Tell me,
Mike,
okay, no,
Mike.
I'm not going to tip off who
just listen to me, Mike.
Okay,
Mike,
right.
Mike, just listen.
Okay.
Trump is not the best the Republicans can do. He is so far from that. It is pathetic.
Well, okay,
Hillary
but
is not. Listen, Hillary is not the best that the Democrats can do. Neither of them are It is just sickening that this great country, this fantastically beautiful place that we live in, that these are the two choices that we have. And I call BS on the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's rigged. It's completely rigged, because it's stomach churning bad.
Okay, but who of the 17 Republicans who ran?
None.
Would you have preferred?
None.
Trump?
None. The answer is
really
none.
wasn't anybody.
It was all
Jeb Bush?
crap. It was all crap, and it was all crap from the Hillary side or from the Democratic side. So, no, I don't want to hear it from anybody. And look, this is the thing. I'm just calling it. I know nobody wants to hear it, but it's the truth. That's the bottom line here. And I said at the beginning of this show, look, I believe in the system. You know, as bad and flawed as the system is, it is our system. That's it. Yeah. And so whoever makes it into the Oval Office, I'm going to support, because if we don't and things spin out of control and break down, then we've got nothing, and then we got a real problem. So we got to fix the system.
Well, okay, but the difference there between you and me is you believe in the system. I no longer believe in the system, and I think there's a lot of people who don't believe in the system anymore. I don't believe in the honesty or integrity of the system.
I don't either. Mike,
irretrievably broken, and I am feeling like I want to blow it up and create something new.
Granted, but
you
we
can't be
can't.
afraid of that, because that's what this. I mean, look, I wrote this awesome book called The Choice, where I told you all this was going to happen, and that's what I think this is all about, Jimmy. Is if we look at it as an opportunity to create something new and better that's not as corrupt as this thing we have on both sides of the aisle, wouldn't that be a good thing?
It would be, but that's my point is right now, today, there's going to be an election that's going to go on in November.
That's right.
And that is going to happen. And one of these two are going, I can tell you right now, it's a 50-50 shot. I got 100% chance of one of them going to the Oval Office, right? Okay, that's what we have to deal with right now. So we got a rocky 4 years that's going to come up in front of us. It's going to get nuts. We have to write it out, and let's try to figure out how we can make things better. But in the meantime, it's country first. We have to worry about us first, and let's just get through this together. Let's hold hands and get through this. But it's depressing.
I'm kind of into the whole Ayn Rand thing and forming our own country.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I'm starting to do.
Well, maybe one day I can buy an island in Fiji, and Rita and I can set our own rules together. But until that happens,
Churchburg, Churchburg Island, or
until that happens,
Jimmyville.
I'll take everybody with me too, and it'll be fun. It'll be against the law not to drink chilled vodka shots for breakfast.
Oh my God, I'm going to have to drink, as long as it's that incredible vodka that you have. It's so smooth and perfect, you don't even get a burn out of it. That stuff's amazing.
But that being said, it just bums me out. And I want everybody to remember, make the choice that you feel good about. If you're happy, go and do it. Don't listen to me. I'm just shocked that for the first time, I've never had a lack of emotion in this, where I haven't gone, this is a good choice, or this is a good choice. Yeah, I feel pretty good about this. I got bright hopes for the future. I look at this right now and I'm like, man, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Well, listen, Mike, I've got calls lined up here, my brother. I want you to be safe out there.
I just thought I would call in because you were calling me out on the program, and I was like, hey, I can't let him get away with that. So.
No, you can't ever.
Right. Okay, man, I love you. I'll talk to you later.
Love you right back. Mike Barra, everybody. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, Jimmy. It's Carla. How's it going?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm good.
It's been a while.
I'm good. I know it's complicated.
Okay. Well, we don't need to go there, but are things good?
I just wanted to weigh in on this selection that's going on down there.
Well, I would love for you to weigh in because you are in a foreign country, and you're looking back inside here. So what's going on? What's your opinion?
Well, I think that both choices are bad. They're not necessarily totally bad, but they're pretty bad. I mean, Hillary Clinton, she's got no qualms about eliminating people that get in her way. And the other guy, he's a businessman and stuff like that, but that he's had to do whatever he's had to do to get where he is and so forth.
No question about it. Good points.
And it seems like the more I hear of all this stuff that's going on, it seems like the biggest fear of all those politicians is that people won't vote. Because when you vote, you give your personal intent and consent to go along with however it turns out. And if it's all rigged, or if it's choosing between two evils. Once you vote, you give your consent to that. And so then they just carry on their merry way, doing high fives or whatever.
Exactly. And just like I said today, it doesn't matter who you are. You're going to have a body count. And you pull any politician from around the world and dive into his past. And, there's going to be dead bodies in the wake. And, with a guy like Donald Trump to get to where he is in life, there's no telling what lies behind him. And I totally get that. But the other thing is this, here in this country, we vote, and that is the system. As flawed as it is, that is the system. So you got to just ride this thing out and see what happens. Look at Brexit, right? What just happened in the UK. Well, you know what? They voted. The bottom line is the voting happened and the people spoke. And that's the way things are, and that's the way it is here. So I will support whatever the country decides on, and let's make the best of it, and let's ride this out. That's
right, but we have to change. We have to come up with a different way. Like if everybody didn't vote and just said, okay, we're going to try a different system, we're going to try and come up with it, it could turn out to be better.
Yes.
That's what I think.
Well, that's how this country was founded to begin with. And Canada too, for that matter. So, and I get that, Carolyn, and just, give my best to everybody up there. And thank you so much for calling in. Two great points.
I love you guys.
Love you right back.
Okay.
Have a great, safe night. Bye-bye. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, Jimmy.
Who's this?
This is Destiny.
Hi, Destiny. How are you?
You know what? I'm doing good. I have my frustrations and problems, but that's okay. That's the way it is. I'm trying to accept it, and deal with some issues which are really tough. But that's okay. I'm Destiny. I'm destined to be who I am, and that's great. And thanks to you and my paranormal. That makes me feel normal. Does that make sense?
Of course. That's how I run my life.
I know. I know. And I started listening many years ago, probably 20-something years ago, to the Master. You know who I'm talking about.
Yep. We all did.
And it made sense then, and since I found you, it even makes more sense. And I just appreciate you being there and all the FADERNIGHts and all the callers. I love Thursday nights because it's their chance to call in and let you know how we're feeling, what we're doing, and how things are going, and I just appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much, Destiny, and I'm glad you're feeling better, and always just keep rolling that rock uphill. You know what to do.
Oh, I'm going to, and I do have a question.
Sure.
When is that pet psychic going to be on?
Oh, you remember that.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I'm in need of one.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. And Rita's listening right now, and we're in communication with her. Okay,
oh,
so
great.
We'll see what we can do about that.
I do because I grew up with animals. I love animals. I adore. They're like my passion. And my dog, they're not who I've trained so well with all my health problems to rest and stop when I need him to. He knows so many commands, but just brushing him the other night. But he got to sense something or saw something, and he nearly dragged me off the porch. I know. It was crazy. I was so mad at him, but I'm learning to control my anger, and which is great because that's something I need to do. But, I'd like to see, just what's going on with him. He was a shelter dog. He's been a blessing to me living by myself.
Right.
I'd just like to hear one.
Okay, we'll get her on the show, okay?
Okay, I know you will. And thank you, Rita.
Thank you so much, Destiny. Behave.
I will. I'll try to.
Okay. Have a great.
Bye.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, man, sir.
Yes, sir.
You're awesome. Thanks for kicking me cool again. This is John from Los Angeles.
Hey, John.
I asked a question when you had Corey Gooden last week, I think, or a couple of weeks ago. Are you familiar with Super Soldier Captain Randy Kramer?
Of course.
Yeah. Because when you asked him the question if he was familiar with him or worked with him, he said no.
Right.
I mean, isn't he part of one of the top guys that?
Well, I can't speak for Corey. Okay, I can't do that. But I don't even know if he's still around. I remember everything that he had to say and followed him when he surfaced, ever so briefly. But I don't know if he's still around. I'm sure there's somebody in contact with him. I have no idea. He's never reached out to us, and he's just kind of disappeared. So, and certainly in the last few years, I don't remember anything recent. Have you?
Right. I mean, I've been YouTubing a lot of his videos.
Yeah, the old ones. Yeah.
And the latest one he had was May 29th, I think.
Of this year?
And yes. May 20, I think it was late May of this year.
Really? I did not know about that. It's not an older video that was just posted. You're saying that he's got fresh material out? I didn't know that.
I think so.
Okay. All right. Well, somebody out there, I'll just say this now, Fade to Black audience, tweet in any recent information on Captain K, Randy Kramer, and somebody will post something.
Right. So do you think he's legitimate, or maybe he's out of orders to pull back?
I've never see. This is the thing when I'm asked my opinions about stuff like that, I've never spoken to him directly. So I just have to say that the material is out there. It's a fascinating read. It's fascinating to listen to, but I've never spoken to him directly. So it wouldn't be right for me to say one thing, or the other, that I believe in the story or I don't. It wouldn't be fair because I've never spoken to him. I've never had him on this show. You know what I'm saying, right? I mean, I just have to be fair about this.
Right.
No.
You can't fabricate things.
Well, it's fun to listen to, though. There's no doubt about that. But I've never interviewed him directly.
Do you think you might have a possibility of him coming on?
If he's out there, then he knows about the show, and if somebody's out there that's in contact with him, you can put him in direct contact with us. But that's where that stands. And I don't want to sound trippy about this or evasive. I'm not at all. It's just that I haven't heard anything of him in quite a long time. So, but if he's got new stuff out there, there's plenty of people that are listening right now. And if you can put us in touch with him, then that'll be fine. We'll bring him on. All right, John?
Okay.
All right, brother. Hey, man, be safe out there.
You too, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Yeah, this is Hiley.
Hi, Hiley.
Georgia. Yeah, I just thought of something a few minutes ago regarding Hillary or whatever and her rise to power,
Right.
She became a senator for New York in 2001, January the 3rd.
Right.
But prior to that, we had John F. Kennedy Jr., and his plane crashed in July of 1999.
Right. Didn't she replace him? No, he wasn't senator. He was running the magazine at that time, right?
Yeah, George Magazine. And
right.
There was high speculation that he would run.
That's what it was. Right.
And then plane crash happened, and really, I'm not sure how she eventually got residency in New York or whatever, but
yeah, I was.
Well,
that wasn't that because didn't Bill have his foundation in Harlem and they moved to New York, right?
I don't remember details, but that sounds.
Yeah,
I'm sure they pre-planned the move. You know, I mean.
Yeah, I always thought it was strange that, you know, she was a senator from New York. I was like, man, how does that work? Why aren't you back in Arkansas and running for the Senate there? But anyway, so what's your question about that?
I don't really have a question.
Oh, okay.
We were talking about the Clintons, and they seem to be at the right place at the right time to move through the circles of power, you know.
Well, when you're a power couple like that, which is exactly what they are, you know, and you make your climb, you are going to have friends and relationships all over the place. And then not only because he was governor for so long, and then of course the White House happened after that, and then she becomes a senator, and you think about the influence over decades, decades. Right. When I say influence, because you're building relationships, and you become Secretary of State. Your husband is the former president. The relationships that are global are crazy. I mean, it's just nuts. So, definition of a power couple. Well, how about Bill being called now? He's going to be the first man, right? I guess. Am I right? Has anybody?
Be fun, man, if it happens.
Has anybody clarified that? Are we going to call him the first? The first
husband.
Well, we don't call the first lady the first wives, right? So I guess he's going to be the first man. That's interesting. That's really trippy. And when he if she does win the election, right? He's going to walk back in there and go, man, how did I get back here, right? And it's going to be his job to do the interior decorating.
I bet he doesn't stay at the White House. I'll tell you what.
Oh, man.
He'll be underground somewhere, probably.
It's a crazy thought that the first lady is now the president and the president is now the first man. That's nuts, man. That's
only
just
in
crazy.
America, my brother.
Yeah, only in America. You know what? They never, when they say you can grow up to be president, they really do mean that, apparently. Right?
Okay.
All right, Hailey.
That's all I got, man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Love the show.
I love you right back. Somebody had just tweeted about the bright lights last night, and I've got the information on that. Happened right over Los Angeles. I'm going to take a break right here. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. 323-825-5045. It's Thursday night. It's Fader night. Fadernauts unite. I'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up, standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Did you ever turn to your radio for your favorite talk show to find that it's been preempted for this?
In the air to deep right center. Back goes Lewis to the wall, and it's out of here!
Or this?
And I'm ashamed of you, Hillary, for voting for it.
Do you have a favorite talk radio program that's not available in your city? Just go to TalkStreamLive.com for links to the best streaming talk radio shows. At TalkStream Live, you will find live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All your favorites are here. With such a large selection, you will also discover some new favorites. On the go and still want to listen? With the mobile smartphone, simply type TalkStream Live on your internet browser. Now you can take internet radio with you. You will also find hundreds of music, news, and sports streams. Best of all, the TalkStream Live directory is free and there's never a login required. Remember TalkStreamLive.com, the fastest route between you and your favorite talk radio show.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's Thursday night. It's Fader Night. 323-825-5045. Well, it happened last night, right before the end of the show. Bright, long streaks of lights soared across the sky all the way from Utah to California. And it happened at the end of the show. I got texts, I got emails, I got a few messages on Facebook. And this one was from Tommy Sean. And it came in right before the end of the show. And I'm going to read directly. He goes, sightings over northwest Las Vegas. We were outside listening to you when a large something burning was falling from the sky with plenty of sparks and smoke, followed by a big green blinking round light in the smoke and sparks trail. Too fast to get a photo. Well, now, according to the United States Strategic Command, the streak of light was the remnants from a Chinese CZ-7 rocket. The rocket re-entered the atmosphere over North America near California at 9:36 p.m. last night, Pacific time, and the rocket itself had launched back on June 25th. Man, it was all over the news here. Tons and tons and tons of video. Unfortunately, we were in the bunker, and I missed it once again. I missed the blue lights out over the Pacific last year. Rita and I had our backs to that. And it just seems like every time something exciting happens over Southern California, we missed it. Let's go back to the phones. Whoa, hi, you're live on Fade to Black. You're live.
Hey, Jimmy.
Yes.
Jimmy, this is Brian out in Oklahoma. Brother, I just had to call in and tell you I wanted to check in with the FADERNIGHT and let you know, the last couple weeks' shows, they have been completely awesome. I was going through some dark places right there, and you guys really helped me out.
Right on, Brian. Right on. And so what's I know you're calling in to say, hey, but what else is going on, Brian?
Not too much. I'm trying to avoid politics, avoid the news, and I actually switched from cigarettes over to a vape for right now, and then hopefully get off that.
I was just going to say, how's that going for you?
there's a few days where it's really hard.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
You know what's funny is the first time I started vaping, which was probably 2016. So I'm going to go back to 2010, 2009. And I got back then, you can't do it now, but I got like 24 milligram nicotine juice, right? Like really strong. And it would make me hiccup, and I would also get dizzy. I mean, it was like a nicotine injection, right? And today, all of the vape juice out there, 2 milligram, 4, 6, really weak stuff. And for a cigarette smoker, if you're going to switch, if you're going to go off of it, you need some nicotine. Listen to me, vape makers out there, all of you vape makers, you need to make one for cigarette smokers. If you want us to lay down the cigarettes, then give us some vape juice that makes us feel like we're smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, I've seen some around here that's got 12 milligrams. But,
right.
I went straight to 3 milligrams, and there's times where, somebody be smoking a cigarette, and I'm like, got to get one.
Yeah. 3 milligrams will make you want to kill somebody,
Yeah.
No, you need, 12 milligrams. I'm just telling you, you want it so strong that you're going to want to vape, right? You don't want to want a cigarette. You want to be able to get your nicotine fix on. So, and I'm being serious, man. If there's any vape makers out there that are listening to me right now, that's what you got to do, and vaping without any nicotine at all, which is also what people do. They just do it to blow the smoke. That I don't get. I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, we've got a few people out here at work that do that. And I mean, all it is I guess they want to produce clouds.
Yeah, smoke rings.
I just don't get it.
Right. You're absolutely right, Brian. Well, listen, man, isn't it great? The FADERNIGHTs and the family and everything that, the people that listen to this show and they hear us talking about it, they don't get it. They don't. Trust me, they don't get it. Once you're part of the family and you come in and just hang out, somebody, I just saw this. I don't know where I saw it, but somebody had posted or messaged me or something, said, man, I don't want to be a part of Twitter or have to be part of Facebook, to become a FADERNIGHT. Otherwise, I would. Well, you don't have to. But the family is part of that, certainly. But calling into the show and being part of the show on a regular basis, that's what makes you a FADERNIGHT. Get yourself a Fade to Black.
It is. And if you don't get involved with them, you're missing part of it.
Yeah, they don't.
This is my support group, man.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah. I live for the nights that I can get on Twitter and hang out with the family and just have a good time.
Okay, somebody just said, Tara says, Jimmy, they do. The nicotine goes way up. These are just replacement highs. And Cortana says, talk to Gigi for extremely strong, delicious vape juice. Yes, we know. Let's see. Yeah, I got a bunch from Gigi, but he gave me all the weak stuff, Cortana. He gave me like 4 milligram stuff. Les just says, I still use 12 milligram. It's just funny. You can't sell any juice here in Oz with nicotine in it. Have to get it out of country online. Is that right? So in Australia, there's no nicotine in vape juice? What kind of crap is that? Man.
Yeah, that kind of defeats the purpose there.
Yeah, fully, 100%. All right, Brian, behave and be safe out there, man, and you know who loves you.
All right, thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you so much. And that's what I'm talking about. FADERNIGHTs, it's all about you. 323-825-5045. The complete skeleton of a 200 million year old herbivore, a dinosaur, has been discovered in South Africa, and it's been scanned by the world's most intense X-ray source, revealing its ancient history. If you go to our Facebook page for Jimmy Church Radio, we've got pictures posted there. It's amazing. The fossil is the most complete skeleton ever found of the, you ready? The Heterodontosaurus tucky, a small plant-eating dinosaur that lived during the early Jurassic period. Now, the skeleton was analyzed by the European Synchrotron Radiation Facility, the ESRF, and it's located in Grenoble, France, which teamed up with the University of Witwatersrand, Johannesburg, to reconstruct and study the dinosaur skeleton. And I got to tell you, again, we've got pictures of this. Go check it out. It's a pretty badass little dude, and it is complete. Laid down in the mud, and it's interesting how, and what most people don't understand, and including myself, I mean, I've digested this to fully get it, but to get something to fossilize a skeleton, bones, everything has to be perfect. Thank you, Bob, for posting this picture. I'm going to retweet this right now. There it is right there. Look at that. Is that incredible? Now, to get something to do this, the reason why we don't have millions and millions of dinosaur fossils and humans, too, as well. There's only one Lucy skull. Now, there's kind of like two, right? But we don't have millions. We don't have hundreds of thousands. We don't have 10,000 because everything has to be perfect for it to happen. You got to die in mud. You've got to lay down in the right mud. Everything has got to just extract everything out and calcify and turn it into rock. It's a rare thing to get a fossil. It's even more rare to get a complete bleeping skeleton like this little guy right here. It's pretty amazing. You can go check out the scans right now. It's just amazing. Thank you, Bob, for posting that. Just go to hashtag F2B at JChurchRadio. Follow us on Twitter, and everything has just been posted right there. Really quick, before I get back to the phones, a U.S. spy satellite, the third one this year, by the way, has been launched from Cape Canaveral atop an Atlas V rocket. The United Launch Alliance, the ULA rocket, successfully blasted off this morning, carrying a classified NRO, National Reconnaissance, right? 61 satellite on behalf of the National Reconnaissance Office, and they announced everything, and they control America's spy satellites. NROL 61 is the third NRO satellite to be launched this year. This is the ULA's 23rd flight for the NRO. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hi.
Jim from New York.
Hey, Jim from New York. How are you?
Great.
Just got back from New York, man. We just got back. Rita and I, we were out there in Manhattan for 4 days.
Yeah, I heard you like the pizza?
Of course, man.
Yeah.
We went to Mi Familia, right? Is that how you say it? Right next to Madison Square Garden, right on the corner. Man, it was just amazing pie.
They say the water there makes the pizza.
You know what? I can't argue with that because it is night and day from Los Angeles, and so if it's the water, it's the water. But it is amazing, man.
Yeah.
So what's cracking, Jim?
Well, there's so many things I want to talk about. I originally wanted. I just got my internet and long distance phone back, so I've been missing your shows, but watching them on YouTube. But I always wanted to talk to you about David Jacobs because it got me thinking really deep about some. But also I wanted to mention briefly. I saw something in the sky last night that I have no idea what it was. Maybe you do. It's just I seen it before, like 15 years ago, on and off, and I have no idea what I was looking at because it was this pulsating thing, kind of an orb in the northern sky, and it was super clear and last night, and red, white, and blue flashing lights.
Wow.
And with a naked eye, it was dancing around like a bee or a hummingbird would dance, a little bit up, down, left, right, diagonal, and all this. Well, I watched it for 15 minutes, and I got the binoculars. But with the binoculars, it was far away because a plane flew underneath it, and a plane, when it's 5 or 10 miles away, you can barely make out the flashing lights on it.
Right. Was it still dancing with the binoculars, or was it just dancing with the naked eye?
It looked more like a rotating geometric thing.
Interesting.
But you couldn't zoom in with I don't have really expensive binoculars, and it would just rotate and go up and down, left and right, and you wonder, because you hear people say, "Oh, the space station, you can see it from sometimes," and I have no idea what the space station is supposed to look like, or how long it takes to traverse the whole sky, or if it's fast or slow, or what it's supposed to look like. But
Right.
The problem was, what if it's a pulsar, quasar type star or whatever? It can't be that, because it wouldn't. And even a half an hour later, when something rises in the east, like the sun or the moon, it traverses the sky toward the west. This thing went up. After half an hour up into the sky, it was still there, but it went eastward. So it can't be celestial. It went in a and it would slowly rise up, and then it would stop. And I've seen those things before, and then of course I got a camera, but I have a cheap camera, so nothing shows up at night on it, and I couldn't break out the telescope because I'd have to dig it out and make all this noise and wake people up. And
I'd wake people up. Yeah, but. See, have
you ever heard of anything like that?
Well, I mean, the answer is yes, but there is an effect. That's why I was asking you if it was dancing with the binoculars too. I forget what the optical effect is called when you look at a star, a celestial body that's far away with your naked eyes, and it appears to be moving. That's because your eyes are adjusting with the night sky.
But I've looked the thing, and I've heard of that. Yes.
Right. And then when
the problem with that is,
well, hold on, Jim, hold on. So then when you look at it with the binoculars, it cancels that effect out. And so that's what I wanted to know, if it's still dancing.
Not only that, I'm looking at other stars with the binoculars, and they might, or without the binoculars, but they might do that, but they're still somewhat bright, whitish, and this thing was just looked like it had. I mean, when it came first above the trees, very low on the horizon, this thing was flashing like brighter than Jupiter and Mars put together.
Right. Well, with the things that I have seen similar to that, I still don't have an explanation for what I've seen. I don't know if it's us, if it's them, if it's us using their technology, if it's just something. I don't know.
Crazy.
What I do know is it's not a plane, it's not a rocket, it's not a helicopter. Beyond that, I don't have any explanation for it.
And of course, it's so late at night. It's like, why are other people seeing this and reporting it?
Well, same thing with me, too, as well. So, Jim, I'm going to tell you the same thing that how I... Okay. I brought in another call that's making noise in the background. Caller, you need to chill out in the background. Okay. Hey, Jim, have a great, safe night, my brother.
Okay, you too, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Hearing from you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Calm down the background if you're going to stay on.
Hi, Jimmy.
Okay, too much noise going on here.
Did you see the news about what happened yesterday?
What's that?
Did you hear about what happened in the news yesterday?
No, what happened? But you got to. The background's too noisy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the news. My uncle. My uncle. I don't know if this happened this morning or just last night, because they said that they saw something flying around just here in Arizona.
Yeah, it was a Chinese rocket re-entering the atmosphere.
a Chinese rocket.
Yeah, it just re-entered the atmosphere. It was launched last month.
Yeah, and one of my cousin sisters says that they think that it was a flying saucer. And here I said, flying saucer, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And here they said, well, if you saw a flying saucer, would you be excited and record it? And here I said, yeah, I'll be excited. That would be proof right there.
Yeah.
Because people might think, people would think that some of these people that say that they saw a UFO would be crazy, but if they've caught a video or a recording thing, they would say, here, this is proof, and they would know that they weren't lying or they weren't crazy.
Yeah, we're still waiting for the perfect video. There's a lot of great video out there. There's no doubt, but we're still waiting for the perfect one. What's your name?
My name is Arlen So.
Your name's what?
Arlen So.
Okay, I still can't. The background is too loud, but yeah, I agree with you. And the sighting happened last night. It went all the way from Utah all the way across Southern California. It was seen in Las Vegas. It was seen in Arizona, and it apparently was just a rocket re-entering the atmosphere. That's all it was.
Yeah, I've been asking myself, why are they like shooting these rockets and stuff? Are they like trying to scare us or what? Because I kind of freak out thinking that it'll be like something different falling out from the sky, or I don't know.
Yeah, and thank you for the phone call, by the way, and everybody saw it. Thank you for the phone call. And if you did see, if you saw it last night, what was your reaction to it? Because when I was a little kid, man, I was like 21 years old, and I'm over in Pasadena in Sierra Madre, and we're coming across these stairs down the backside of this apartment. And when this was happening, going down the stairs, I looked up in the background and I saw a rocket taking off from Vandenberg. I didn't know it at the time, but I saw it taking off from behind the mountain. And I stopped in my tracks and I'm watching this thing and I'm thinking, is it the end of the world? Are we launching nuclear? Is it us? I'm waiting for stuff to come raining down from the other side. Of course, this is 1983, no internet, nothing like that. And I stood there and watched it forever. Went home, watched the news, got nothing. And it was like the next day, there was something on the news about Vandenberg launching a rocket. But at the time, you just don't know what's going on. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Oh, hi. Something cut off.
No, I said good night. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Thank you for the phone call. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Oh man, all these calls coming in. Okay. 323-825-5045. I'm just going to hang up on everybody and reset the phone lines. 323-825-5045. But yeah, that blew my mind. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, Jimmy. This is Casey.
Hey, Casey. What's cracking?
Jimmy, I want to send you a tweet. I'm going to show you, like, how much your show is part of my family. First of all, thank you for saying that for my birthday on air. On that day, my daughter prepared a greeting card for me. I just tweeted it. Can you see it?
I'm looking at it right here, man. I'm going to retweet it right now. Hold on. This is amazing.
I got to explain you about this a little bit. That's a alien spaceship. An alien is delivering my birthday card. And the bottom figure is me. My wife's name is Ada. And I'm screaming, Ada, call Jimmy Church. Yeah, they all know about your show, and I will never miss your show. That's why this is the best greeting card I ever got. I couldn't wait to show you this greeting card.
Oh man,
so
it's amazing, and I'll describe it to everybody. We've got a really cool flying saucer with a glass dome, and we've got now who's in the flying saucer?
That's an alien.
That's an alien. Okay.
She never know how aliens look like. She doesn't know grays and stuff, so she just put a human figure.
Right. Well, this alien, it looks like he's got 4 eyes, right? Yeah, he's got cool ears. He's got a cool haircut, and he's holding up a happy birthday sign, and that's you down below. And Ada called Jimmy Church. This is really, 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 really cool. How old is your daughter?
She's 12 years old.
12 years old. It's an amazing. That is a bitchin' flying saucer, man. Well done.
Yeah. I put that one right away on my room, and this is the best greeting card I ever got. And I have everything on it. Alien spaceship, alien, and the word Jimmy Church.
Oh, man, this is great. Everybody in Twitter right now has been retweeted all around the world, man. Okay? There you go.
Yeah. Jimmy, I wanted to surprise you coming to New York, and I was sick. I wanted to bring my family and see you there. And, I don't know when you're going to come back again to East Coast. But next time, no matter what, I'm going to make a trip to see you. I really wanted to come there to see you and see, do you know this Indian guy? I was sick. I couldn't do it. Jimmy, and I really appreciate the updates, what you gave yesterday and today. Yesterday about Trump. And today about Clinton.
Yep.
Because after watching your show and some of the Coast to Coast AM shows, I know this one very well. And whenever you give updates like this, I used to play that one for my wife so that, somebody should get the true information, because we won't get these things from MSNBC or Fox. I cut my cable like 2.5 years before. And really, you made a very good point yesterday. I'm like you. I'm not with Trump or Clinton. But Trump always was saying that other countries are laughing at us. Other countries are laughing at us. You know what? Other countries laughed only when he made a statement like that yesterday. No matter what, we cannot give this one for other countries to talk like this, I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
And then,
thank you.
And then today he came and he said he was just sarcastically he is saying that. That won't reach the other countries. But what he did yesterday, that will definitely reach every other country,
Well, that's it. Well, see, that's exactly the point. If that is how you're going to carry yourself, you need to understand that people around the world are believing you. And you look right into the camera and you say something like that, and then you're going to come back the next day and go, just kidding. What does that even mean? Oh, we're going to go bomb you tomorrow. Oh, I was just kidding. Oh, we're going to loan you $100 billion and feed all of your poor. Oh, I was just kidding. I was being sarcastic. We're not going to feed your poor. What do you mean? You can't do that. You just can't. And there's at some point.
It's not. See, you probably say that one. That's a different thing. You are running for a president. The countries are going to look at you. What you're going to say, how you're going to.
That's right.
Run the country.
100%, Casey. 100%. At some point, you got to put your big boy pants on and start acting like the president. And that's all that I'm saying.
First of all, I'm telling you,
hey, Casey,
it's not running for president for a country. He is going to run for a president for the number one country in the world.
That's right,
America.
Hey, Casey, happy birthday!
Oh, thank you, Jimmy. Thanks a lot.
Have a great night. This is Fade to Black. Your calls. It's Thursday night. 323-825-5045.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Are you tired of brown rust stains on your toilets, sinks, and clothes? Does your water smell and taste bad? Don't live with these problems anymore. HydroCare's revolutionary well water systems, available at Wave Home Solutions, gives you clean, healthy, great-tasting water from every faucet. They remove iron, hydrogen sulfide, sediment, and many other contaminants that are distasteful and damaging your fixtures. You'll be amazed how fresh and clean well water can be. Satisfaction guaranteed. Go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Fadernaughts. Things are never what they seem. For the past century, forbidden subjects such as UFOs, backward engineering, human abductions, secret space programs, underground bases, suppressed free energy devices, and other fantastic notions have tested the human mind, forcing it to decipher fact from fiction. Chronicling what he calls the alternative narrative, author Brad Olson gets down to the middle of it all in his best-selling book, Future Esoteric, now released in a second edition by CCC Publishing. And now, you can get Future Esoteric at a special price, plus another free book by just using the promo code Jimmy when you check out. Just click on the Future Esoteric or CCC Publishing banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go Beckley Teppy. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Teppy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. It's your night. It's Thursday night. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. I'm going to get back to the calls in just a second. But check this out. A recent unique discovery has been made in the country of Georgia that scientists say could change ancient world history. Hidden in the Grackliani Hill in eastern Georgia, archaeologists have found a 3,000-year-old script that now, after proper analysis, has turned out not only to be the oldest writing in Georgia, but also the third oldest piece of writing ever discovered. The writing was inscribed on the wall of a 7th century BC temple dedicated to a fertility goddess. Now listen to me. It's been analyzed now. It's over 3,000 years old. You've got to check out what this looks like. Go to our Facebook page, jimmychurchradio.com. There's pictures of it right there. It's absolutely breathtaking. third oldest known written language in the history of everything. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. You're live right now.
Am I live?
You are live.
Oh, wow. I can't believe I'm live. Hi, Jimmy. It's an honor. My name is Metal Man.
Hey, Metal Man. How are you?
I think this Pokemon Go thing's going to be a lot worse than CIA or NSA. If there is a Sky, I think it's going to become it. I mean, just think about it.
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. You know what I've had to say about it.
Yeah, the thing's pure evil, man.
It is pure evil. Well, no,
people go on the road and
see, this is the thing, Metal Man. If you're 5 years old and you're into it, the pure evil isn't there for the child, right? It's just a game. The pure evil is using the child to walk around and photograph and videotape and map our known world.
Heard about people breaking other people's houses to catch Pikachu or something, you know. That's where it goes too far.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, this is what ultimately bothers me. You have the capture of your data. Obviously, that's wrong. Access to your email, sending and receiving and reading your email. Apparently, that's been stopped. But 6 million people didn't have that comfort. So there's that aspect of it. And there is the mapping and knowing where you live, your email address, and who took the pictures, and so forth. So there's that part of it. But that's not the evil part. The evil part is that game was built and developed with CIA money. That is wrong. There is nothing...
And Google money, too.
There is nothing that anybody can say to defend themselves from that aspect. The company was built for CIA intelligence reconnaissance. That's what the company was built on. All of the technology was built to do that. It was used in the Iraq War. That is what the foundation of and the game engine in Pokemon Go was developed for. That is it. And if that is not pure evil, I don't know what is.
Yep, I agree.
So what else is cracking out there?
No, that's it. Just wanted to warn you guys about Pokemon Go.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I don't know if you heard from last night's show, but now they are up to 75 million downloads. I don't know what that equates into users, 60 million or whatever. But if they stay on clip, it's going to be 100 million within 60 days. And that boggles the mind. And when you think about all of those, this is how I look at it. That's 80 million covert CIA operatives walking around the globe. And right now, they've got another 70 markets where the Apple Store and Google Play still operating that they haven't even tapped into. It boggles the mind how big and influential that game really is.
Yeah, when you got companies like T-Mobile doing away free year of free data just so they can download Pokemon Go, that's kind of a red flag right there.
Yeah, exactly right. No, you're exactly right.
Why would they lose money so people download a game for free?
That's right. 100%. Who is banking it on the back end? Because nobody is in this to lose money. I read everything today that Nintendo, because of the way that the company is structured and so forth, yes, because of the success of Pokemon Go as of last week, they gained $25 billion in the stock market, but they lost about 30% of it over the last week because of their earnings and what was announced. But nobody is in this to lose money. Nobody. The way that the structure was laid out, Nintendo just gets a piece of the profits. The CIA is getting some too. It's pretty crazy. Thank you for the phone call, Metal Man.
You have a good night, Jimmy.
Yeah, behave, man. Behave, okay? All right. This is Fade to Black. 323-870-1065. 825-5045. Yeah, everybody's talking about our 500th show. So today is is it 498 or 497? Okay, I'm looking here. That doesn't make any sense. What are we up to now? Is today 497 or are we at 498? If that is the case, no, 498 would be Monday, 499. 500 will be Wednesday of next week. It won't be Fader Night. I think. Man, somebody do the math for me. But I'm looking at K28 here saying 500. Yeah, it's right around the corner. We're a couple of shows away from our 500th show. Think about that. 323-825-5045. Well, speaking of billions in the Apple Store, Apple has officially sold their 1 billionth iPhone. CEO Tim Cook announced it today at an employee meeting up in Cupertino, California, and he said that the billionth iPhone was sold last week. The billionth. Apple declined to comment, though, on where the phone was sold. Somebody out there is holding the 1 billionth iPhone. And I'm wondering if, is Apple going to contact them? Doesn't that make you a celebrity? Shouldn't you be on TV? And you would have thought that with their interconnection, right? And at the cash register, right? Suddenly that phone gets scanned and then balloons fall from the ceiling, streamers, silly string, people come marching in and you've got the UCLA marching band and you've got the 1 millionth iPhone and then they send you around the world on a trip and you get to go visit all the iStores around the world, the Apple stores, right? What happened with that? I would have thought. And then I started thinking, 1 billion. That's a pretty big number, right? 1 billion. So let's start to play with these numbers. How much is Apple selling the iPhones for, right? So you've got different numbers out there and different retailers and different outlets, right? So let's just pull some odd numbers out. Let's say it's $100 an iPhone, which it's not. That's $100 billion, right? And we know it's not. $200 an iPhone? No, that's cheap, right? $200 billion. $200 billion. Not counting everything else that they sell. Not counting anything else. What if it's $300 an iPhone? Now we're starting to get a little bit close, right? $300-$400 an iPhone. Not counting, I'm talking about on average. Going back to the original iPhone now to the 6 and 6S Plus or whatever it is up to now. Which is, what, $500, $600 a pop, right? So now are we actually touching stratospheric numbers of $300 billion, $400 billion for the single product line? Not counting, iBooks, MacBooks, MacBook Pro, AirBooks, towers, Apple towers, monitors. Think about this, right? It's one of the crazy, if you think about that section of the company's business, and then you've got iTunes and everything else. How big is Apple really? I know it's the biggest company in the world. I get that. But think about the numbers that they have generated from the iPhone. It's more money than, pick a country. Pick a country. I don't care who. It's more money than that country made last year, except for China and the United States. And if you equate everything else in with trade deficits and debt, Apple's probably richer than the United States. Think about that for a second. From the iPhone. Unbelievable. That, I'm going to take a shot of vodka. I'm not. It's coffee. Don't get your hopes up. Hey, did everybody get drunk last night? By the way, I was watching the post in Twitter That was a lot of Gobekli Tepes. It was pretty funny. Everybody had to switch to the Tuesday is number 500. Is that right? Tuesday's number 500? I don't even know. I think we did something out of order. Did we skip something? I'm going to jump to this here. I've got to mute. Do not do this. I'm going to pause. Okay.
Tepes. It was pretty funny.
Okay. Boom. All right. So if that's the case, let's go to episodes. Yeah, we renumbered wrong. Today's 497. Okay, we'll renumber it. So if today is 497, then next Wednesday is going to be our 500th show. I didn't think we jumped to 498 right. Okay, so yesterday was 496. Okay, I'm looking at the list right here. So we did something wrong in the numbering today. It was a slip of something. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy. Brandon here.
Hey, Brandon. How are you, brother?
All right, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. 500th show next Wednesday.
I was just thinking, it's Tuesday, right?
No, it's going to be Wednesday. We renumbered wrong. It's going to be officially Wednesday will be our 500th show.
Awesome, man. What a milestone, man.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, that's you know what? 500 of anything is a buttload, right?
Yeah.
You go from just a load to official buttload status when you get to 500.
Exactly.
Even $500, right? $100 bills in your pocket.
Well,
that's still a lot of money, right?
Yeah, and it took Joe Rogan 4 or 5 years to get to that, I still want to see you on his show, or him on this show.
Yeah, it's fun. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen someday.
Well, look, we have some connection in between the two of us, and so there is when we want it to happen, it's going to happen. So there's reasons why it's sort of been put on hold. Okay, there's reasons for that. But I'll say this, his manager, right? The guy that handles his stuff out of New York, dickhead.
Yeah, is he? Yeah.
Oh, complete.
Yeah, I've heard,
Oh, man. And so the email exchanges between him and I'm just like, dude, you know what?
That guy. Oh, yeah.
I'm done with you. I'm just dealing with Joe. I'm going to deal direct and friends in between the two of us.
Exactly. Duncan Trussell.
Duncan's cool.
He's one of my friends. He had George on, Nori on.
Yeah. Duncan's cool. Duncan's way cool.
Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to bring up a couple of things. I don't know if you mentioned this. I had 3 things to bring up. Have you seen the Netflix show Stranger Things?
Everybody's talking about it.
All right.
Okay.
You haven't talked about it yet.
No, I haven't. Right. And we haven't. Look, Rita and I have been talking about it all week. We were when we were in Times Square. Stranger Things were lit up all over, up and down Broadway and up and down, 7th Avenue. It's all over the place. So I get it. We've been getting email. We've been getting this. Yes. Okay. Listen, everybody, we're going to check it out. We know who's in it. I know that I've read very little because I don't want to know, but I know the basic storyline and I'm regretting finding that out too as well. I wish I didn't. I wish I would have gone into it stone cold.
Yep.
But I'll tell you something funny. What's her name? The star? Give it to me real quick.
Winona Ryder.
Yeah, Winona Ryder. This week, flying to and from New York, I watched Beetlejuice twice on the airplane. So isn't that a weird synchronicity, right?
Yeah, it is, because we were just talking about Beetlejuice in the chat room because we think some of the callers were from Howard Stern earlier, with Rapoport and whatnot.
Yeah.
But, okay, so that's cool. So you're going to get into that because I want your take on that, man, because let me tell you.
Well, it's from Indiana, too, as well. They're living in Indiana in 1980, right?
Well, yeah, but it's a whole pastiche, I want to say, or collage, of things from from Close Encounters and Steven Spielberg, and E.T., and even real life, this one researcher, connected to the West Memphis 3 and all this stuff, right? So, like, you know, it's pretty heavy, and it's MK Ultra. It was going to be called Montauk, apparently.
Yeah, I heard this. See, you know, and I
know, spoilers.
No. I spoiled it myself. Yeah. You know, because I was hearing all of the hype, right? Yeah. So, but we're going to do it.
Okay.
Everybody just calm down. The reviews, this is the thing, though, that I find interesting. It's hard in a television series today. Today. It is hard to do something original, and it's hard to do something that the critics like.
Right.
And
absolutely.
When the fans like it and the critics like it and the network, Netflix in this case, is behind it, there's something magical going on here.
Absolutely. Because usually when the critics like something, I go the opposite way.
That's
know
it.
What I mean?
That's right.
You know?
Well, if you look at Firefly, for instance, right? Mm-hmm. Still to this day, they do the Firefly marathons.
Oh yeah, Josh Whedon, man.
He's a cool dude, by the way. Really, he's like 6'8". In case you didn't know.
No, is he really?
Oh man, he's huge. That. He's huge. I stood next to him. This was about 5 years ago, and I stood next to him. We talked about the whole thing. Yeah. But anyway, I was like, dude, how tall are you really? My God. So anyway, but if you look at Firefly, the fans loved it, but for some reason, it just didn't click with the critics or the network. The network just didn't get it.
Yeah.
You know, and in the end, the big push that happened to bring the series back wasn't enough for the network to get behind it, because you got some cheeseball at the network that says yes or no.
Yeah.
You know, exactly. And that's it. Right. And if he doesn't like you, the numbers could even be there. You know what? Right. It all stops with one guy or girl. You know?
Same thing with the manager, you know, and things like, you know, people like that, you know, Rogan's manager. All right, so number 3.
Okay.
Where was that? Number 2. Well, let's go Mr. Robot.
Yes. Yes.
Which is you've seen that.
Seen them all.
I guess. Okay. I haven't seen some of the first season.
Oh, you've got to see the first season. Now,
it's been so spoiled that I am going to see it, but I mean, I know what's going on, you know, pretty much. But yeah.
You have to. The reason why you got to go back, since you're in the middle of the second season and you know about Christian Slater and his dad.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. But in the first 8 episodes or 7 episodes or 8 episodes of the first season, you didn't know that Christian Slater was dead. Okay, you don't know that, and certainly the first 5-6 episodes you're still trying to figure out what's going on. But tomorrow night on Coast and next Tuesday on Fade to Black, we're gonna have on Greg Hausch.
Oh, sweet.
Okay, now Greg is the consultant for Mr. Robot.
Right, and what's the other one? The other show?
House of Lies.
House of Lies.
But exactly. He's also, and I want him to tell the story. I don't want to give it out, but he's one of the original Anonymous. And,
wow.
And so, and before that, he was just a straight hacker and consultant and stuff, and went to prison.
Yeah,
so,
he served time for it. I mean, he's got the badge to prove it.
Yes,
man,
he does.
You know?
He does. And so, but him telling me about, we were riding around in a cab in New York this past weekend.
Oh, so
and we were talking about Mr. Robot, and he's like, man,
huge,
you know,
dude, that thing is huge. Who would have thought? A network show on USA, you know what I mean?
Well, but also bringing somebody like him on with his pedigree as the consultant, then so when you see and hear the terminology and how they deal with hacking and how they work with coding and the atmosphere and what a hacker really is and that culture, well, you need to have somebody that was actually there and is part of it, and Greg is all of that. So just check out Coast tomorrow. We'll dive into it. And then, of course, Tuesday next week before our 500th show, Greg will be on here, and we'll really let it hang out on
before the 5, not for the 500.
No, 500th show is going to be a special show.
Special show. Okay, got it. Cool. And number 3, before I give it way too much time on here, sorry about everybody.
That's all right.
Number 3 was Bosnia pyramids are fake, dude, with Robert Schoch. What the fuck?
Excuse
me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Bosnia, I thought forever, like I pictured, okay, Bosnian periods, their pyramids, go back to Tepe, take a drink now. And,
right.
all over the world, there are pyramids, China, I'm sure, the moon, Mars, a universe, I'm sure. But you have Robert Schoch, who I respect a lot. I really respect him a lot. His academics, his credentials, everything.
Yeah, and you have to look. I haven't been there, but the thing is, for all of us, when you are somebody that has studied rocks, and you have degrees from Yale and George Washington University, and you're a tenured professor at Boston University, and that's who you are, and you go out and just like he said, and you go out, and that's the opinion that you have.
Exactly.
I gotta go with that because I haven't been there. I that's it. Now until I see this is how it has to happen. The only way that I could have my mind changed is if I go there myself and I look at it myself and I go, okay, all right, Schoch is wrong. But until then, I got to go with it. I got to go.
What if it's been made? Do you think you'd be able to figure out if it's man-made or not? Because some fakes look so good, man.
Yeah. Well, look, the thing is, and I keep stressing this with everybody, believe your eyes. That's what you believe first. You believe your eyes. And Robert's eyes, I trust. When I look at the photographs of the Bosnian pyramid, I don't see it. I don't see it. I mean, I have looked and just looked. I know it's covered with trees. I know it's big. I know it's sitting in the background. I realize it's sitting behind the city and stuff. But even with my imagination and just trying to give benefit to the doubt,
exactly,
right,
yeah.
and trying to take the leap of faith and trying to go there, I just don't see it.
Yeah,
I don't feel it. And so based on that and listening to Robert, I don't know.
But that's a big deal because, people talking about Bosnian pyramids have to fess up now and be like, yeah, I'm probably wrong about that.
Well, you see, the thing is Robert used the word fraud. Now he can use that because he's been there. I can't because I haven't been there. Fraud is a very strong word, right? But just maybe it's not a case of fraud. Maybe it's a case of belief.
Or fun.
And they believe that it's real.
Right.
They believe.
Yeah, exactly. And like I even give the benefit of the doubt of some of the people who are trying to rewrite history in some sort of weird way, and that, but you got to be suspicious of it. And you're right. Until I visit the place, I'm going with Schoch, I'm going with Church, and sticking there, man. And hey, that's it.
Well, and like Yonaguni, I still think it's real. So, I'm going with my eyes on that. And I know he's been there. He's dived it. I get that. And I hear his opinion, and I got to trust that. But, man, that thing looks too frigging artificial, and so there you go. So I will still remain on that side of the fence with Yonaguni until I go out there and see it for myself. Hey, Brandon, be safe out there, my brother.
All right, you too, man. Duesenberg Guitars.
Thank you so much.
All right,
you got the plug in. I'll talk to you.
Yeah, right.
All right, bye. Duesenberg Guitars. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Take a quick break. It is Thursday night. It's Fader Night. 323-825-5045. Yeah, man. Yonaguni. And you heard Schoch and I last night, man. I still think, I trust his opinion, but it still looks cool to me. Bosnia, I never really bought into it anyway. So there you go. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. 323-825-5045. Thursday night, Fader Night on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'll be right back.
You are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-618-WAVE, 888-618-WAVE, or visit mydryhome.com, mydryhome.com.
Ride the wave, Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back to Fade to Black. It's Thursday night. Fader Night 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. You can follow me on Twitter right now at JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. And any questions or comments during the show tonight, hashtag F2BQ. Email is Jimmy at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Now, I was just looking over in Twitter. I've got a few things I got to address in Twitter. One, Lynn over in Oz, she just goes, and she's absolutely right. He's still in jail, Jimmy, talking about Randy Kramer. He does updates with Carrie on Camelot TV. I forgot about when I was sitting here thinking about Randy. I was like, man, it's been I can't believe I didn't remember all of that. That's why. He's in jail up here in California. I think he's in San Luis Obispo. I think he's in Vacaville. Is that where he's at? And I know that Carrie's been going up and communicating with him up there and transcribing those interviews and then getting them back onto Camelot TV. That's right. And that's why it's been so long. I completely forgot about that. And so there you go. And I do know. I haven't gone and checked out any of that, though. It's been a couple of years, and I know that she's done a couple of video blogs about it and got those up, which I did see, but it's been a couple of years. So there you go. Any updates with Randy Kramer, just go to Camelot TV. And you just reminded me, maybe I will go and do that over the next couple of days, and I will definitely get a hold of Carrie. Okay? And I'll see what I can do about that. And see, George just says, Jimmy, what do you think about Ben Fulford's deck of cards? I'm like, what? Ben Fulford, the Canadian Alex Jones. I haven't checked out Benjamin in a while. But he's an interesting cat, no doubt. I'm not sure. Fun to listen to, fun to read, but I'm not sure if he buys what he's selling either. I think it's entertainment, but there you go. Let's see here. And I'm not trying to offend Ben. He's a cool dude. And there you go. All right. Let's see. What do you think they are doing with that satellite? Oh, the one that was just launched. Interesting. I'm not too sure. And they've launched 3 this year. It does make you wonder. Even more so than that, it's that X-37B that flips me out too as well. Let's see. EM says, hey, Jimmy, did you ever get a hold of some night vision binoculars? No, I didn't, but I'm going to say this. Steve Murillo and Alex Mistretta, I think it's been sort of announced over the last couple of days, but those two are heading up into the Northwest, and they're going on a Bigfoot hunt, and they're taking night vision up there. Yeah. Those 2 crazy cats. So I can't wait to find out what happens. And we will get, of course, a live report from the middle of some dark forest in the Northwest. I don't want to say exactly where they're going to, but I think it's coming up in the next couple of weeks. All right, let's see what else. Archangel, when I order my new Fade to Black shirt later on tonight, can I get it signed by Jimmy and the ever so lovely Rita? Absolutely. Absolutely. Be happy to. So just let us know. And when you order, let us know it's you, because we get orders every single day. So definitely I would order the T-shirt, but send Rita an email to rita@jimmychurchradio.com so we know which order is yours. Okay, just tell us what city or whatever, and we'll make sure. Okay, and tell us, do you want us just to sign your name, our names, or do you want your name on the shirt too as well? Let's see. Idea just said Apple's market cap $564.34 billion. $1 billion. Absolutely insane. All right. Cleared out the phone lines. 323-825-5045. And there you go. Moisha Mana. Moisha Mana. Do you know who that is? You probably don't. But Moisha is one of the top fundraisers for Hillary Clinton, and now has offered Donald Trump, this is as of today, has offered Donald Trump $1 million in cash to the charity of Trump's choice if he makes his tax returns public. So he made that offer to the Donald, and the Donald responded, but I'll get to that in a second. But also, he joins an unnamed Republican donor who was working with Clinton, Clinton's ally David Brock, who made another offer of $5 million cash money on the table to disclose and make your tax returns public. Guess what Donald said today? He said, nope. He said, nope. And it was his response after that, though. He says no. And then the line after that, the Donald said, and I'm not making this up, I'm going to paraphrase a little bit, but he goes, I just don't think it would be politically advantageous right now to disclose the tax returns, no matter what the audit says. Isn't that interesting? That happened right before the show tonight. There you go. I'm not bagging. Ain't doing it. I ain't bagging. It's just the way that it is. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, this is Danae.
Hey, Danae.
How are you?
I'm doing good, Danae. How are you?
All right. I'm doing awesome. I love Fader Night. So you were talking about some guys that are heading up north.
Yes.
That are going to be looking for Bigfoot.
Yes.
How far up north, and where are they heading?
Well, okay. I'll tell you what. I'll make you a deal. It's Steve Murillo and Alex Mistretta, and I will talk to them, and I'll see if they are cool with me saying where they are going to. They may want to stay a little bit covert so they're not bothered by people. I don't know. I don't know what the plans are, but I know that they're heading up. I know that they're doing night vision, and they're specifically they are going to a specific area where there have been some credible sightings, and that's that's all I can say right now. But the Northwest, yes.
Okay, all right. If it's Oregon territory, the ones that I can definitely tell you about are in Coos County.
Coos County?
Coos County.
Coons County. Spell that
Coos
for me.
County.
Spell it.
Toos.
Oh, Coos County. Toos. Got it.
No, C. C is in cat.
Coos County.
Coos County.
Okay, what part of Oregon is that?
That is right in the central along the coast. If you're going up 101 or if they are going up 101, I can tell them about some places in Green Acres that I have had more experiences with that I was like, holy crap, this was years ago. But to my knowledge, anybody that knows about it, any of the locals that are around there, they're all like, oh, yeah, we know exactly where you're talking about. So if anybody's interested, Coos County's the place to go.
I'm doing it right now. I'm sending the email. Supposed to be the spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if anybody needs that contact info, you just let me know, and I can probably GPS them straight directly on top of where they are going to get the. Well, it's a dimensional thing. In my experience with it, it's a dimensional thing. And so when they are at the right vibration in the right location, they're going to see it definitely.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I have as of yet to land on that side of the fence when it comes to Bigfoot. Okay, so I think something's going on. I just don't know what it is. But
I've had my own experiences with it. I mean, to the point of my dog being covered in a slime that I could not identify coming any other direction.
Sure, and I've had very close friends of mine tell me some pretty extraordinary things, and Clyde Lewis had his sighting of the baby Bigfoot. Remember, outside of his cabin.
Yeah,
and so I get all of that, but for me, it's just the lack of. You know what? I just want a body. I want a dead body. I want a dead Bigfoot.
You know what, Jimmy? It's going to be for you like Contact in the desert.
I know that's how it's going to happen. I realize that, but so until
then you're going to be going, oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've had Jeffrey Meldrum on the show, and how do I want to say this? I want to show respect to the researchers out there and to the people that have had things. I do. But until I've experienced something for myself, I'm going to remain a skeptic. I'm going to stay skeptical on this. You know what?
That's what makes you the man. That's what makes you the standalone guy that we can all go, yeah, where's Jimmy at? Okay. So I totally respect that, because your not knowing is every bit as important as my knowing.
Yeah, that's true. That's 100% correct. And the only the thing is even with the incredible sightings that Rita and I have had over the years, with all of the, with everything that has happened that has been totally strange, I still can't say if it's us or them. I can only say that what we saw, we weren't supposed to see. Things like that aren't supposed to be there. Now, I just don't, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I had that crazy ghost sighting, right, that I keep telling everybody about. And I'm telling you right now, when I got inside of that house, I fully expected to confront a burglar, a panty robber, some crazy dude, some homeless guy broke into the house looking for beer. I don't know, but that's what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting to find an empty house, with no broken windows and the back door still locked. And it was a small house. This wasn't some big place. I wasn't expecting to find that. But does that mean I saw a ghost? I don't know. I don't know, but it was strange enough for me to go, you know what? If somebody wants to tell me a ghost story, I'm going to sit down and listen now.
But don't you think it's like a fan, Jimmy? Really?
What's that?
If you're vibrating at the same, if you're running at the same rate of speed as the blades on a fan that are spinning, it looks like the fan is standing still.
Sure.
But if it's all of a sudden vibrating higher, you can look right through it and be able to go, oh, yeah, there's nothing there.
Right. Well,
so it's really dependent on your vibration, in my opinion.
Let me give you a real world example of what you're talking about. And most people don't even realize this. But You've heard of Bose noise canceling headphones, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And you know that technology now is in cars. So they have noise canceling cars. So when you are sitting inside of the car, you don't even hear the engine, right? And how that works is this. It takes, and I learned this in the audio industry, and canceling things out. When you hit a sound wave with an identical sound wave, they cancel each other out and the sound disappears. And so that phenomena works against you when you are mixing an album and you have the stereo phasing of sound waves. Well, that technology, that knowledge of that is what Bose has got in the headphones. So they take the sound of the aircraft engine and the noise in the cabin, and they sample that exact signal and they hit it back, and then the phasing lines up, and you would see it if you're looking at an oscilloscope showing the sound waves working against each other. And when they hit, they fully disappear because they are canceling each other out. Now, you can take that is a real world example of the way everything could be working. So it works with light, it works with sound, and if something from another dimension just happens,
anything that's a wave
that could cross into us, right? And it's not being canceled out. But then when you see it disappear, and it could be a UFO, it could be a Bigfoot, an interdimensional spirit, or things that we call ghosts that just happen to appear because just for that second, we're on the same frequency. And we just happen. Then when they disappear, it's because they're not supposed to be there. And if anybody wants to question whether that is possible, I'm telling you right now, an example of that is noise canceling headphones. Stop and think about that for a second. Okay? And it's just an application of that in the real world. So before you think that something is so fantastical that you're suggesting to me right now, I'm telling you right now, that technology is on everybody's head on an airplane. If you're driving in a car that's got a noise canceling system in it to ride around so you don't hear the outside world, there's an example of it. Think about that. It's a fascinating thing to contemplate. And so something popping.
It is fascinating.
Something popping in and out of our dimension, of our universe, absolutely. Happens all the time. Why wouldn't it?
Okay, all right. So the only thing that I disagree about in anything that you just said was the stop and think about that. Because you don't ever leave us enough time to stop and think about that stuff, Jimmy.
Well, that's what you got to do after the show. That's when you stop and think about it. Just stare at the wall. You're
going to give us 20 things. And I'm going to take a shot because you said go Catholic.
Thank you so much, Danae, and have a wonderful weekend.
Have a great night.
We'll see you tomorrow night on Coast.
You rock.
You got it. You too. Danae from Oregon. Yeah, if you stop and think about it, I'm looking at Tanette here. She goes, oh, my God, my husband thought about noise canceling back in the 80s. Damn, and he didn't patent it. Right? I know. It's let's see here. Okay. All right, let's get back. 323-825-5045. I got enough time for one more phone call and before Les hits in. Let's see. Baltimore State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby may have dropped criminal charges against the remaining officers in the Freddy Gray trial, but she now remains entrenched in a legal battle of her own in civil court because 5 of the 6 officers that were charged for the death of Gray are suing Mosby, as well as Major Samuel Cogan of the Baltimore Sheriff's Office in civil court. In several lawsuits filed earlier this year, officers William Porter, Edward Nero, Garrett Miller, Lieutenant Brian Rice, and Sergeant Alicia White alleged defamation, false arrest, false imprisonment, and violation of constitutional rights, amongst other things. I'm just going to say this to all of those police officers, and nothing to do with all the great police officers out there, but this group, now you know what it's like to get arrested. And then when people turn around and complain about false imprisonment, a false arrest, and alleged defamation of character and violation of constitutional rights, you know exactly what they're talking about. I hope all of it gets thrown out of court. Every last bit of it. There you go. All right. What's up, Les?
How are you doing tonight, Jimmy?
I'm doing good, my brother. Doing good. Did you know that a new species of scorpion has been identified as inhabiting the Madera Canyon in Arizona? Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't. Why don't you fill us in?
Okay. Man, you got a weird sound on your microphone, man. You sound alien. One of 2 were found in as many years, and they're named for the local mountain range. It's called the P. Well, it's a really long word, but they're shortening it. It's called the P. Santa Rita. It was first described by Richard A. Ray and Michael Solaglad in December 2015 in an issue of Scorpion Research Journal, and it's called the Escorpius. And it first appeared in the publication along with the P. cremani, a new species from the Santa Catalina Mountains, also described by Asray and Solaglide. Now, if you go to our Facebook page for Jimmy Church Radio, we got a great big high-res picture of this dude, and it's nasty. Nasty.
I really don't like scorpions, Jimmy.
No. Did I tell you about what happened when we were driving to Roswell?
No, you did not.
We were at, now you sound better. We were at a Sonic drive-through in the middle of the desert, right? We found one, and we go in, and we're at the drive-through, and as I pull up, I look down on my leg, and there's a little baby scorpion, and he's about, I'm going to say a half-inch long, right?
Oh, no, it wasn't a bark scorpion, was it?
I don't know. But he's on my leg, on my right thigh, right on the top of my leg, walking. And I look down at him, and Rita looks at him at the same time, and I reached down and I flicked him with my finger, right? My middle finger, and it exploded. It just went into a million pieces. And Rita goes, "That wasn't a scorpion, was it?" And I go, "Nah, it was a little baby spider." "Are you sure it wasn't a scorpion?" I go, "No, it was a baby spider." She's freaking out. And I'm trying to be real cool, right? I'm just, no, it was a baby spider. And I was thinking to myself, holy crap. I wasn't even thinking when I flicked it, but I did. And it was pretty trippy. It just exploded. But it was better than jumping out of the car and freaking out. Just a little baby guy. And he met the end of his life pretty quickly. It exploded. It just blew into a million pieces.
I have a quick question for you, Jimmy.
Yeah.
What do you think went down? I mean, after having, Robert Schock on last night, something's gone down in what is present-day Turkey. I mean, if you think about all the ancient monuments they're finding there buried, and think about like Cappadocia,
right?
What went down there 12,000 years ago? Something big went down on the earth that they felt like they needed to hide and they needed to bury everything.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept, and when you think about how large that complex is, I think I've read that 30,000 people could live in there.
At least 20.
Yeah, 20,000. And I've seen so much video. It's too claustrophobic for me, but I've seen so much video just walking from room to room to room to room, and they have the big round doors that they could roll into place and block it off. What was the need for all of that? And it's massive. And it's safe, and the temperature is constant, and you can breathe in there, and they had storage room for food. I don't know. I have no idea. But also, you have the same thing with the Anasazi here in Chaco Canyon.
Like the ant people.
Yeah, the ant people. The same things kind of come into play. And then you have the Mayans down in Central America that also had all of the underground canal systems and living underground. So there's that part of it too. I don't know. I really don't know. It certainly makes an awful lot of sense. And then there could be, you have the potential of the underground structures in and around Egypt and Giza. You don't know what's buried underneath that sand. That sand is all recent. At one point the Sahara was not the Sahara Desert, and when you look at the things like that in those terms, when you look at Abydos and you see that entire complex of tombs, well, we see it as sand today, but it wasn't when they constructed that. That was a whole,
right.
And how quickly all of it was buried under sand. It didn't take long at all. That at one point, and I know we understand this today, but you have to wrap your head around this. When Napoleon went to Egypt, he was looking at the head of the Sphinx. Now you have 50 feet of the Sphinx, 50 feet of sand.
Right.
Right? Think about that. Okay, so what is in and around Giza? A lot. I think we're looking at a very, very small percentage of it. So there you go. Oh, did you know, really quick before we have to end the show tonight, that Melania Trump announced today that she took down her website?
What?
Yeah,
really?
She personally took it down. And the website in question was created back in 2012. It's been removed because she says it doesn't accurately reflect her current business and professional interests. And that was in her tweet. Now everything redirects to Trump.com. But the mistake that was there, apparently she said that she had a degree in college, but that was on her website, but her official bio says that she dropped out of school after 1 year to focus on her modeling career. So go and figure. I don't know what the real truth is, but it's just surprising that the website is down. All right, man. Take us out of here, Les.
Yes, sir. Special thanks to Jon Rappoport, No More Fake News, and all the first-time callers and Fadernauts who phoned home tonight. Fade to Black executive producer is Rita Camarion. Special thanks to LJ3, that's me, Renee, Jonas, Mark. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Brother Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Fady by Dale. Webmaster is Drew, the Geek. Music by Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, syndication on KGRA The Planet. And for that, this week, until Coast, Jimmy and I are out of here.
Thank you so much, Les. See you tomorrow night.
See you tomorrow.
This broadcast owned and copyrighted 2016 by Faded Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, download, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Faded Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. I'll be on Coast to Coast tomorrow night. My guest, Greg Hausch. I want everybody to be safe. Go Beckley Teppy.